So we're going to go through a sequence quickly for athletic performance, especially in the issues of lower back mobility. So quickly, just understanding tension is a lot of times when you think of it in a yogic sense, is the practice of yoga is the release of tension because you want to be able to be still. So if I'm practicing tension release, then it's for the ability to be still for a long period of time. In an athletic endeavor, we're not trying to be still. We're trying to be in a flow state, which tension is necessary. So to be able to be explosive, I have to have tension. I have to be able to load tension. I have to be able to release tension. Now, when tension becomes tightness, that's when I'm going to begin to lose form, begin to lose technique, begin to lose agility. So when stiffness, tightness sets in, that means the muscles are beginning to lock in because the structure is being threatened somehow. So once your nervous system interprets your structure being threatened, then you begin to experience tightness. And as athletes, we don't want tightness. We want tension. Tension is the ability to be able to create, then dynamically release. So in the form of hockey, explosiveness, volleyball, explosiveness, golf, explosiveness, we need tension, but that tension needs to be manageable. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through two sequences that are going to help us to be able to form tension and release tension. So we're actually going to create tension and then release tension, which is what we want to do athletically. So get away from the mindset that I want to lose all tension. No, you need to be able to manage tension. We're not practicing yogic movements in order to be still. We are practicing yogic movements in order to be explosive. All right, so let's go through the first sequence. Our first sequence is we're going to start in an extended position. I want you to lift the heels, reach as high as you can. So I want that extension, feeling the body as extended as possible. Then I want you to sweep down, let the heels drop down, and then we're going to end up in this position. So I've not got my back like this. I'm pushing my belly forward. I'm getting my back flat. My hands are going to be placed behind my knees or behind my calves, wherever is reasonable. I'm feeling tension in here, so I'm elephant walking. Good, I've got that elephant walk. Now I'm going to collapse into what they call a forward fold. All right, I'm in my forward fold. Now my hands are going to go to the ground. I'm going to drop back into a plank position. Once I drop back into that plank position, then I'm going to drop my pelvis first. I'm going to drop my pelvis first, then I'm going to point my toes. So I'm pushing my pelvis to the ground, but I'm keeping my arms bent, okay? Now I'm going to drop down into my position here. I'm going to tighten my glutes, create tension, and then I'm just going to lift up into my shoulder blades, okay? Pushing my pelvis into the ground. I'm going to tense up into my shoulder blades. Maybe 10 reps there. Then I'm going to tuck my toes back up and under. I'm going to come up. I'm going to step forward with one leg. Drop that back knee. I'm going to reach up toward the sky, look at the ceiling. Then I'm going to bring my elbow into my instep. If you can't get there, that's fine. Breathe in. Breathe out. All right, for the purpose of the video, I'm going to do 5 reps, which my rep is an inhale, exhale. You can You can do 5, or you can go until change happens. All right? Now I'm going to take this leg now. I'm going to drop it back in, going to go back into plank. I'm going to bring my other leg up to my hand, drop that back knee. Then I'm going to reach up. Good. Push that back leg up, back into plank. Bring this leg, drop the knee in between the hands if possible. If that's not possible, put it wherever you can. Then I'm going to drop that hip. 1. Good. Back into plank. Knees between the elbows. Back into that plank. Now I'm going to walk my toes up. I'm going to go back into the forward fold. Then I'm going to go back into tabletop and elephant walk. And then back into extension. Good. That's sequence 1. You can go through that 3 to 5 times. Once you memorize that, go through that sequence until you can drop into these positions easily. If you get to a point where you cannot breathe in the pose, then you're not there yet. I should be able to get in one of these poses and be able to fully inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth or through the nose. Do not mouth breathe. Do not inhale through the mouth. As an athlete, you want to learn to always be pulling air through the nostril to go through the system of the face. As an athlete, you don't want to be a mouth breather, because that's when the body goes into a state of panic. As athletes, we're never panicked. We're always poised. All right? So we create tension, release. All right? Second sequence now, we're going to be on our back. Going to go down. Going to be on the back. The feet are going to be flat. All right? I've got my hands out to the side. I've got my palms raised to the ceiling. I'm pulling my shoulder blade up and under my rib cage. All right? Now, I'm going to pull my belly button into the floor. See what happened to my pelvis? When I pulled my belly button into the floor, my pelvis raised up. This is going to be especially important for you volleyball players, because your pelvis is always tilted. You want to pull that. I'm pulling my belly button into the floor. I'm feeling pressure. I've got my palms up. I've got my shoulder blades behind my rib cage. Now I'm just going to let my knees fall. And whatever side my knees fall to, I'm going to look the other direction. Let my knees fall. Look the other direction. Keep that belly button pulled in. You're going to find it hard to keep the belly button pulled in, because you're going to want to lose that brace in order to extend the rotation of your hips. But that's false mobility. The only mobility I have is how far I can turn and keep my belly button in. Now, if I let my belly button go, look at that. I can bring my knee all the way to the ground. But look at my shoulder. It's up, and I've lost that lumbar stability. So I'm going to pull that belly button back in, and then I'm going to keep that belly button there, rotating back and forth, keeping my shoulders onto the ground. Now, if your shoulder's on the ground and your belly button's pulled in, and that's all the farther you can get, then that's it. Okay? Keep it there. Don't forfeit stability in order to get mobility. For an athlete, stability is priority 1. All right, so we've got those rotations. Now we're going to take the foot, we're going to cross it over. Same thing, pull the belly button back and in. I'm going to drop the foot to the floor. See, my shoulder's still on the ground. All right, my belly button's still pulled in. Then I'm going to bring this over and I'm going to use my foot to pull my knee over. I'm going to look the other way. I'm not going to let my shoulder come up. Again, I'm breathing in, breathing out. Good, about 5 a side. Make sure you're keeping that head rotating because an athlete needs to keep their head on a swivel, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to breathe in. All right, for sake of illustration, I'm only doing 5. You can go until change happens, or 5's great. Just make sure that your sequencing and your patterning is based on your breath, not on your movement. The breath is first priority. I'm breathing in to load tension. I'm exhaling to release tension. All right, now I'm going to go back to that first position. I'm going to cross my foot over. Let's see, I think this is where I started. Yeah. Cross my foot over. I'm going to thread my hands between, grab my knee, and then I'm just going to do some sawing back and forth, breathing in, exhaling, pulling that belly button in. Good. Coming back to the other side, threading, sawing back and forth. Remember, I want to breathe in, create tension, exhale, release tension. Back and forth. Again, you can stay in this position until change happens. All right, now we're going to come back and down. Now we're going to go through a final sequence. I'm going to take this hand, I'm going to put it on the outside of the opposite knee. I'm going to take this hand, I'm going to grab the opposite foot. I'm going to lay that leg over. I'm going to keep looking that way. Good. About 5 breaths, I finally got my foot to touch the floor. Some of you are going to be able to get your knee to the floor. That's great. But just make sure that you're not lifting the shoulder to get that. I'm keeping that shoulder down. I'm looking the opposite way and getting that rotation through the lower spine. And remember, don't lose the belly button. Hand, opposite knee. Hand, foot. Drop the foot, look the other direction. Right about there for me. That's about what I can get and get through that twist. All right? So final thing in this sequence, I'm going to really drive my belly button down into the floor. So I'm going to get my hands on the outside of my feet and I'm going to walk on the ceiling. If everything feels okay, then I'm going to take one foot, I'm going to roll, tap, roll, tap, roll, tap, roll, tap, roll, tap, roll, tap. If that feels good, then I may want to go roll, tap, set up. Go into a little bit of a butterfly position, come back, roll, tap, set up, a little bit of a butterfly position, roll, tap, set up. See, and I'm keeping that belly button because if I lose my belly button, my back's going to go like this and I'm not going to be able to roll. I have to stay in the hollow position. All right, so I'm going to come back. I'm going to put my hands up like this, pull my belly button back and in, hollow rock, hollow rock, hollow rock. 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. How am I going to finish? Nice cobra position. Okay. I'm going to finish here now. I'm going to breathe myself down. I'm going to have my glutes engaged, pushing my pelvis into the floor, rocking back and forth, keeping that glute engaged. If that's not enough, I can get here, but I'm keeping my pelvis into the floor, keeping my glutes engaged, right? And my final movement, head nods, chin to chest, rotate, rotate. Again, this direction, head nods, chin to chest, head to shoulders, ear pull, rotate, rotate, figure eights, figure eights. All right, so in this athletic practice, what am I learning? I'm learning that I can create tension and release tension. Create tension, release tension. So when I want to create tension, when I want to release tension, okay? So whatever your athletic endeavor, breathe in pattern. Do not hold your breath when you're performing athletically. If you are serving, you're going to breathe in, right? Because you want to release the tension through the ball. If you're playing hockey, you want to breathe in and then you want to release the tension through the puck. Remember, the ball, the puck, the golf ball, all of that's just getting in the way of what I'm releasing. I'm creating the tension, releasing the tension. So go through this practice. Make sure to focus first and foremost on the breath. Do this until it becomes secondary. Do this sequence until you can do it in your sleep. And then you're giving your body a pattern to follow so your nervous system doesn't hit and hope. I'm not going to throw the ball up and hope that I get it across the net. I'm not going to hit the puck and hope that it goes in the net. No. My nervous system is already going to know what to do because I'm speaking to myself as a leader, not as a victim. I understand that what I tell my body is a weight. It's a responsibility. But if I don't give my body the tools to be able to know what to do, remember, G.I. Joe it is to know it, SEAL Team 6 is to fix it. So what we're doing is this is a pattern for us to be able to follow to understand what we need to do athletically with tension and release.